accountability is the foundation of trust. If we don't have any accountability, you will not trust us. I'm on the citizen, the advisory board for Hampton High School. I'm on the school council for Hampton Middle. I'm a 12-year baseball coach. I have a business here. I've been here since 2007. So I'm vested. I'm very concerned about what's going on in our city. I want to leverage my relationships with the county. I know we want to stand on our own, but we can't do that now. We have to collaborate with our commissioners and our water board. I'm asking you for your vote. Vote for change. Thank you.
Thank you to each of the candidates. Now I will introduce Dr. Ray when she comes to ask questions of our mayoral candidate.
Good evening, everyone. Question number 1, Mayor Candidate Devlin. So this question is of Mayor Candidate Devlin Cleveland. As the mayor, it is imperative that you know the form of government that we have. Can you explain to us the current form of government that you serve under and how it works?
Yeah, we have a city manager strong government. So that means the city manager runs the city.
Please speak in the mic.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we have a city manager strong government. So that means the city manager does the day-to-day operations. He's the front of all meetings in regards to the industry that's coming through. Also, with the mayor, he or she also makes sure that City Hall is ran effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Candidate Devlin Cleveland, as our community grows, how will you balance development with the need for green spaces, water conservation, and other sustainability goals?
So, for me, like water conservation. So right now, the big thing is the data center that's coming. 2031, we're looking at 3.3 million gallons a day of water. So that's hard. That's going to be hard for the city to sustain that without having the water from Henry County, Clayton County, or Griffin, or Spalding. Right now we have no agreement with Henry, with Clayton, nor Spalding County. We don't have an agreement with Griffin for 50 years, but they can't supply that much water. So I think, I know we can't put a stop work order on it, but I think we need to renegotiate that to ensure that we have the water that we need here.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Candidate Ann Tarpley, what measures will you implement to increase resident engagement in local government decisions and ensure that all community voices are heard?
Thank you for the question. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So, one of the things that we have prided ourselves on is making sure that everybody has an opportunity to be informed. We have been one of the most transparent governments that this city has ever seen by providing information on our website and our newsletters on every platform that we have. Not only that, whenever we have embarked on our projects, we always host charrettes, making sure that our citizens have the opportunity to usually come into this building and choose the items and the things that they would like to see us look for, chase after, bring into our city. So that involvement is one of the top things that we pride ourselves on is making sure that our citizens have a voice in our community, that they actively participate in the decisions that are made in our community. There is not a plan on our website that the citizens have not had their piece to say in that plan. Everything that that we do economically through our community development department is championed and pushed by our citizens. That is what they said they wanted to see, and that is what we're actively chasing here in the city of Hampton. So we will continue to do that. I have been told that I get a little bit better presence on the internet, on social media platforms, so I also will be embarking on that this year as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor candidate Ann Tarpley, with the current growth, how do you plan to deal with the city's increased traffic? What initiatives should the city take to help eliminate traffic problems?
Okay. So for me, it is imperative, and it's what I live by and what I told our citizens each and every day. Growth can never outpace infrastructure. It is imperative when we're introducing or bringing in new communities, new industries, new jobs, businesses, that they put in the necessary infrastructure to make sure that we flow. Now watch this. We all want commerce in our cities. I hear every single day from the downtown businesses that there's not enough foot traffic. Well, there's not enough foot traffic because we have not created a population here in our city for them to visit our downtown area. So in order to do that, we have to make sure that we put in the streets, the roads, the infrastructure, so that they will be able to move freely throughout our city. We have to integrate new trails, which we already have a trail design here in the city of Hampton, and we need to implement that trail and make sure that there is great connectivity throughout our city. And that's what we're working on.
Thank you. Mayor candidate Ann Tarpley, how will you hold yourself and other local leaders accountable to the community you represent?
They hold me accountable every single day. Every day, the local citizens come to me, talk to me, ask me questions. They tell me if I'm out of line. They tell me if it is something that they feel like that I should be doing or should not be doing. I listen, I hear. I make the best decision for the entire community. Now, I want everybody to understand this because one of the things that we realize is that most of the time, my granddaddy would say, most of the time the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil. So oftentimes it's the people that come and they have an issue that they want us to solve, that we're chasing or actively solving those problems. But the door to my office has always been open. I am there at least 3 days a week, sometimes 4 or 5 days a week. I'm always open to hearing anything that our residents have to say. I welcome their feedback. It is what actually governs us on a daily basis, how we're going to move within our cities. And yes, we don't always get our way. It doesn't always go the way that they bring it to me. But it's not that it's not heard. It is definitely heard, and we try to implement as much of it as we can.
Thank you. Mayor candidate Devlin Cleveland, what specific strategies do you propose to address the ongoing housing crisis and rising cost of living in our community, including concerns over short-term rentals and rising property taxes?
Thank you for the question.
Okay, there it is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for the question. Can you repeat that question for me, please?
Yes, absolutely. What specific strategies do you propose to address the ongoing housing crisis and rising cost of living in our community, including concerns over short-term rentals and rising property taxes?
I would collaborate with our commissioners and see what we can do because we can't do it on our own. And also, so just to let you guys know, we as a council, we rely on the experts, the subject matter experts, the directors, the city managers, to gather all the information we need to bring to the council. They gather information and they give us options to choose from to handle the situations as this. So I rely on the subject matter experts to give the information and to give us options, and I would choose the best option for the city of Hampton.
Thank you. I will turn it over to Mr. Branch.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? In the back, huh? Okay, cool. So I'm going to be doing the city council questions. So this is for the city council candidates. This is the first question. This is for Ms. Sherry Cheney. How do you feel about the growth in the city, and how do you propose that it is handled? Also, what would your plans be to ensure that we are able to provide quality water, sewer, and electricity services at affordable rates to accompany that growth? I'm going to read this again. Yes, sorry. How do you feel about the growth in the city, and how do you propose that it is handled? Also, what would your plans be to ensure that we are able to provide a quality water, sewer, and electricity services at affordable rates to accompany that growth?
Thank you. Good question. I'm sorry. In reference to the growth, we need smart growth here in Hampton. We need growth that focus on the small businesses downtown. We need the core connectivity. We need to add signs for tourists to say, this is the way to downtown, because there's nothing that says where downtown is. People, they ride down 1941, they go through Hampton, but they don't go through downtown. So we need some connectivity to downtown so we can bring visibility to the small businesses downtown. The growth here, building the houses, it doesn't look, these cookie cutter houses, it doesn't look like Hampton. Hampton is charming and it has a lot of history, the trees, so we're knocking down a lot of trees. So if we're building houses that looks like the history of Hampton, that's what we should be headed toward. Instead of all of these cookie cutter houses, and then these builders, they come in and at first they're selling the houses, and in the middle of the project, then they start to lease the houses. So we need to talk to other builders that say, okay, we can build these houses that are affordable for these people, and so they can sustain them, and so they'll be able to pay their mortgage. But if we're getting these builders from different areas that has no interest in our city, they're gonna overprice these citizens the residents in Hampton. So we need builders that has concern and willing to sit down at the table and say, let's build these houses a certain way that represent Hampton that's affordable, so we won't have all of these renters. Because when we have renters moving in every 6 months, it's not good for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this next question is for Ms. Melissa Brooks. What do you believe are the contributing factors to spurring economic growth in Hampton? How can you, as a city council member, directly and positively affect that growth? And I'm going to read that again. What do you believe are the contributing factors to spurring economic growth in Hampton? How can you, as a city council member, directly and positively affect that growth? And that question is for Ms. Melissa Brooks.
Thank you. Okay, the way that I would spur economic growth for the city of Hampton is I first would have listening sessions. I would get input from the public to kind of see what type of growth that we need. I would focus mainly on our downtown area because our small businesses is the hub of our downtown. And making sure that they are vibrant and that they are thriving, whatever I would have to do to educate them to be able to go after funding, whether it's federal, state, there's always help. Because if a business is suffering, it doesn't always mean that they have to close their door. Sometimes it's means that they just need a little help. It could be incentives that the city can give to kind of help them get over a hard spot. I would bring activities downtown, like something what we had today, so that they could be visibly seen. I would help them to promote their business. What was the second part of the question?
Sorry, the second part of the question is how can you, as a city council member, directly and positively affect that growth?
I would be actively involved with my small businesses. I would visit them often to kind of see what problems that they may be having. I would just make sure to keep that open communication with them before it gets too bad and they have to close their door. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question is for Ms. Sherry Cheney. What is your vision for attracting new businesses and supporting small businesses in our area? How will you ensure that economic growth benefits all residents and is not limited to specific neighborhoods? Again, what is your vision for attracting new businesses and supporting small businesses in our area? How will you ensure that economic growth benefits all residents and is not limited to specific neighborhoods?
Good question, thank you. I would start with the youth, getting them involved through workforce programs. And once you get the youth involved through workforce programs, then it would probably, you could reach out to the local technical colleges and other businesses in the county to see what the need is in that area. And also adding more training in technology, because we know that AI is here, and so technology is big now. And the second part of that question was about housing, bringing new houses.
I can repeat it. How will you ensure that economic growth benefits all residents and is not limited to specific neighborhoods?
Okay. I would have the community voice. We would have meetings to see and look at what is needed in each area, not just the inner city, not just the outer city, but bringing all the systems together to see what is needed, because we as the council, we may want a certain type of tiny house in one area, maybe in the inner city, but people that live there may not want that. So you have to have a voice from the people that lives in that area. So it's important to listen and, sit down at the table and ask them, look at what's needed, and then they get the inputs from the citizens.
Okay, thank you. Okay. This next question is for Ms. Victoria Sweat. What do you believe the City Council needs to focus on in the next 4 years that have been neglected thus far? How do you plan to address those topics if elected? Again, what do you believe the City Council needs to focus on in the next 4 years that have been neglected thus far? How do you plan to address those topics if elected?
Thank you for your question, everybody. Okay, so I enjoy my city. I love my city. I love being in my city. One thing that I think that the city needs to focus on is bringing back small businesses. I know that lots of our businesses have closed. We need to figure out why. I know that owners are not just moving away. A lot of our owners that have small businesses are within our city. So we need to figure out why. What's the root problem of why they're not keeping businesses here? Another thing is, as we've said several times now, is the events. I think that we need to focus on bringing our community in. We do have people that drive straight through the city of Hampton, but we want them to stay. We want them to be here. I have 2 children. I have 3 children. One, I hope that he buys a house in Hampton so he can stay close. This is why I moved here to Hampton, to be close to my family and my husband's family. But my son does wrestling in Pike County. My daughter does gymnastics in Pike County. So giving us more opportunities to keep our families in Hampton is what we need to do. Again, I'm a teacher here, so all of my babies are here, but we need to focus on our parents as well. We need to focus on the grandparents, because we don't want grandparents living 45 minutes away and only seeing grandbabies once every 2 or 3 weeks because of transportation. So keeping us closer to Hampton, giving us more opportunities in the city, I think is what we need to focus on for the next 4 years.
Okay, thank you. All right, this next question is for candidate Donnie Bryant. Given the rise in costs, where does the city stand compared to other cities when it comes to utility rates? Again, given the rise in costs, where does the city stand compared to other cities when it comes to utility rates?
That's a good question. In reference to Hampton's utility rates, throughout the state of Georgia, we have the 16th lowest rate in the state. Out of 53 cities, we have the 16th lowest rate. The other thing that you have to consider, when you look at the utility rates that we have that are charged for the kilowatts, we're one of the cheaper. You look at Fairland, if you look at Griffin, we have one of the cheaper rates. And how do you keep those rates cheap? First of all, you plan a budget that takes care of the base rate to make sure that everything that we need from a utility standpoint is taken care of. That entails developing the right budget to fund utility needs. Technology, we have to make sure that we use technology to our advantage to help those rates stay lower. And in doing that, that will help small businesses. It will attract large business to our community. And in addition, doing those things in the right way will help the city grow, and growth is what we need. We've been asking for growth, and it's time for us to take those studies off the shelf and activate what needs to be done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this next question is for Mr. Willie Turner, but I believe he had a family emergency. So I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay, this question is for Mr. Donnie Bryant. How do you plan to work with other government bodies, such as county and state officials, to address complex issues that cross jurisdictional lines? Again, how do you plan to work with other government bodies, such as county and state officials, to address complex issues that cross jurisdictional lines?
I'm going to relate back to my time in the Air Force. As an air traffic controller, we had to work as a team. The tower, the radar room, and the approach controllers. We have to be a team with county commissioners. We have to be a team with our local governments. Part of that team effort means coming to the table, networking, and doing those things that we need to do to make it happen throughout our county and throughout the city of Hampton. If we don't work as a team, we'll go in different directions. And when you go in different directions, nothing is accomplished. We have to make sure the teamwork and the effort is put up front to do things that need to be done.
Thank you. Okay, this next question is again for Mr. Willie Turner, so I'm going to skip on to the next one. Okay, this question is for Ms. Victoria Sweat. What is your position on recent education policy changes, such as the Promise Scholarship Program, and how do you intend to support local public schools and teachers? Again, what is your position on recent education policy changes, such as the Promise Scholarship Program, and how do you intend to support local public schools and teachers?
By being a teacher. No, so I am an EIP teacher, so I teach small group reading and math. But I've also been a HEART mentor lead, which leads new teachers in their start of being a teacher. And so I feel it's very important to give support to our teachers, our new teachers, and our teachers that are beginning to be burnt out. And so creating pathways, or I'm huge on mental health, so creating those opportunities for teachers to vent or to be supported, I think that's very important. With the Georgia Promise Scholarship, my son actually goes to Skipstone, so I'm a recipient, or my son's a recipient of that. And I know that there are positives and negatives to that. Our school system now, our school system now is made up of a lot of people that are coming from this is their second career. And so that's not a bad thing. It's people that have seen a passion in wanting to teach our youth. But we are also having to relearn how the education system works. And so that is something that we're focused on in the school system, and putting those supports in place. So with the Georgia Promise, it does give families the opportunity to be able to go to different schools that are not within the county, so Hampton Middle or Locust, just depending on where you are. But it is also based on what the school is rated. So if a school is rated poorly, are not where they should be, then that Georgia Promise will give that scholarship to that student to be able to go somewhere else. So this is also for students who may need to branch out, who the traditional classroom setting with 30 plus kids is not going to work for them. So a smaller class setting is something that will work for them, and that's why we get that also scholarship.
Okay, thank you. Looks like the last question here that I have, and this is for Miss Melissa Brooks. How will you work with state and local partners to improve access to mental and public health services, particularly for residents with developmental or intellectual disabilities? Again, how will you work with state and local partners to improve access to mental and public health services, particularly for residents with developmental or intellectual disabilities?
Thank you for that question. Mental health is very near and dear to me. First of all, I will get to know my county commissioner, Mr. Kevin Lewis. I would go through the county to find out who on different levels would be advocates for mental health. I myself is a member of NAMI because my daughter has mental health issues. It's very important. Since I've been out on the campaign trail, there's so many people in our city right now who are struggling with mental health, different forms, whether it's autism, things of that nature. My heart really goes out. And so that would be one of my pet peeves, to really, really reach out and see what we can do about our citizens in our city that are struggling. Because it's a very, very sad thing, because they really don't have anyone to turn to. We have people here with their children have Down syndrome, different type mental health issues, and they have nothing. They are struggling with what to do about their family members. So that would be something that I would personally take on, because I need that help for my daughter as well. So I would do all I can to help the citizens of the city of Hampton to be able to help their loved ones live a great life as best as they can with their disability.
Okay, thank you. And now I'm going to hand this over back to Ms. Cheney. Thank you. Sorry, Ms. Carmen.
Thank you so much. Now we have questions that were submitted online, and then also we have this lovely box that you all submitted questions into, those of you all that are here present. And so what we're going to do is alternate between some that were online and then some that are in the box to give everyone an opportunity. Hopefully we get through all the questions, but I can't promise that. But there will be an opportunity for you to connect and talk with our candidates at the end of this forum. So please, if your question doesn't get asked, know that it is still important, and you will have an opportunity to ask directly to the candidate of your choice. So our first question goes to everyone. And we'll start, I guess, on my far end down here. Much of a small city's success depends on partnerships. How would you strengthen Hampton's ability to collaborate with Henry County, regional planning agencies, and the state of Georgia to secure grants or infrastructure support? And again, we have 2 minutes for each one to respond. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Well, I currently have relationships with everyone in Henry County. Our commissioner for District 1 is Johnny Wilson, and our commissioner for District 2 is Kevin Lewis, who is also my Masonic brother. So I will partner with them. I would actually, since I've been on council, we haven't had a town hall to actually listen to the citizens. So I will invite them to do a town hall. Now, Johnny's been our commissioner for the last 4 years. He has had town halls in his in Locust Grove, but not one here in Hampton. Kevin Lewis has had one, however, hasn't had one in Hampton. So I will partner with them and get with the council and come up with a plan, devise a plan, and make sure that is in the best interest of Hampton.
Thank you so much. Next question. Do you want me to repeat the question? Be happy to. Much of a small city's success depends on partnerships. How would you strengthen Hampton's ability to collaborate with Henry County, regional planning agencies, and the state agency to secure, the state of Georgia, to secure grants or infrastructure support?
Relationships is everything. So I would absolutely foster relationships, first starting with my county commissioner. From that point, I would get to know county level, state level, federal level, so that they will keep us abreast when opportunities come for different grant fundings and things of that nature. I would keep that relationship open year round. I would just make sure that they know that Hampton exists, and if there's something available, they can nudge us so we can move forward toward obtaining those fundings.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm good with
Okay,
it.
thank you.
As far as relationships, I mentioned the team approach. Sometimes you have to step away from the team and see what you can do on your own. There are things that the city of Hampton can do on our own, but partnership with the state. For example, we applied and we are now members of GIG, the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. That is a program, that's a 3-year program that we're members of to bring workforce, affordable housing to the area. In addition, it would allow us to take care of some blighted areas, working in partnership, not just with the city of Hampton, but also with the Georgia University of Georgia, The other part of this, we have other partners, builders. This particular program allows builders to receive tax incentives for bringing quality housing to the community. Part of the structure of the issue that we have is we want folks to move to Hampton, but we have to have affordable housing. This is one way we can do it as far as partnership. We talk about the Department of Transportation. There are things that are being put in place to allow us to do some things to put Hampton on the map. We've talked about signage, but we have to do those things to put the signage in place. We also have new branding that's coming about to make sure that folks know what Hampton is, what we're about, and looking at the initiatives with small business owners. For example, the possibility of having the incubator. That would help small businesses develop and then have a place to have their business here in downtown Hampton. The last part, we talk about teamwork and collaboration. The businesses that we have, we need to support them to make sure they stay viable, and that's on us to do it as citizens of Hampton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Positive relationships are very important to me. I teach that every day. So building trust and with the citizens, building trust with the community and the commissioners, the chairperson, and it takes time. You have to get together, sit at the table, discuss what we need, and collaborate. Networking is very important as well. So, like I stated, building that positive relationship. You know, we have to sit at the table to agree to disagree. But it's okay to disagree, but then networking and say, let's talk about it. Bring the citizens in. Take them to the meeting. Invite them, behind the closed doors. Not always have closed door meetings, but have open door. Have an open door policies so you can be available, be intentional, be there to listen so you can build people up and build the community up. That's very important, and collaborating with the county commissioners. Thank you.
She ran off my notebook. I'm just kidding. I think above relationships too, though, comes respect. I think when you respect the other party, when you respect the county, when you have those positive relationships, you need to keep those positive relationships. You will have disagreements with people. It's just human nature. But keeping a positive relationship also requires respect of all accounts. So also listening to our community and what they need. If we need housing, then yes, creating those relationships out of respect with the community and with And also, there are plenty of grants out there. We just have to ask the right questions and the right people. There are plenty of people who want to help. In my position, we have over 300 families in our park now, and everyone has a specific place in our park. We just have to ask who wants to do what. People want to help, they just don't know how to yet. So asking those questions, keeping respect, and then also keeping those relationships open is what we'll do to strengthen our community.
Thank you.
So, coming into office, one of the things that we often heard was Hampton was the redheaded stepchild of the county. I have worked diligently with our county officials to make sure that that would not be the case under my administration. I have been able to work with Chair Carlotta Harrell on many different issues, from our loss negotiations, our splash negotiations, so that Hampton will have a better future for us to live in. One of the things that Chair Harrell and I are currently working on is a land swap, so that we can bring our fire station back into our city, and we can have land that we will be able to put a recreation facility for the city of Hampton on. We have a great relationship, and the process is going very well. Hopefully, we will be closing that on Tuesday of next week. We also have a wonderful relationship with our sheriff office. As you can see, on yesterday we had on Thursday we had a public safety town hall meeting here, and the sheriff office in the county was actually present and shared information on how we collaborate here in the city of Hampton with one another to make sure that we successfully remove criminals off our streets. Every week I speak with the mayor of the city of McDonough, and we actively participate in helping each other with issues that's going on in our city. ARC is currently, we're working with them on our Housing Leadership Academy. I just graduated from that program because one of the major issues across the country is housing. We don't have enough housing across the country. We have a wonderful relationship with the Henry County Water Authority. The Henry County Water Authority has, we negotiated successfully this year our service delivery agreement. It is a 10-year agreement that we put together over the course of a year and a half, and we worked diligently with them so that Hampton would not have to give them our money in regards to our impact fees, but we would also be able to get the services that we need here in our city. So we have a great collaborative effort going on already. We've partnered with the city of Griffin to also bring water into the city, and since we are now a new city in Clayton County, we are talking and collaborating with them as well. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. This question comes from someone in the room, and this is for our two mayoral candidates. In the recent years, the city has experienced immense economic growth and expansion and job growth. As the future mayor, what specific initiatives or policies would you implement to both sustain and advance this growth? We'll start with Mr. Cleveland.
Can you repeat that question for me?
Sure, I can. In recent years, the city has experienced immense economic expansion and job growth. As the future mayor, what specific initiatives, policies would you implement to both sustain and advance this growth?
Well, we just had the Target Distribution Center come on about a year or 2 years ago. And we did that to get tax digest out, which the tax digest is in the report card for the city. However, they cannot come downtown to support our small businesses. So I will basically look for industries that can actually help our downtown, because right now we get nothing from the Target Distribution Center for us our downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. I can repeat the question. In recent years, the city has experienced immense economic expansion and job growth. As the future mayor, what specific initiatives or policies would you implement to both sustain and advance this growth?
So,
imperative that we understand what drives economic development. Most of the time, what we fail to understand is that the reason we have not saw growth, or we have not had sustainable growth in economic development and had industry come into our community, is because there was no infrastructure in place for them to tap into, and the cost could be astronomical. So one of the things that we champion here in the city of Hampton is making sure that growth never outpaces infrastructure. We want to lay the foundation in our community where when an industry approaches us, we negotiate and we work with them to be able to bring them into our city if it is a good fit for our city. And how do we do that? We do that by providing incentive packages, by doing tax abatements, by bringing them into the conversation as to what the property owner actually would like to do with their property. So those are some of the initiatives that we've already put in place, and that moving forward, because it has worked so successfully, this year Target paid $2 million in taxes, you guys. $2 million was paid by Target distribution alone. That is the fact. You can pull that up on the Henry County website, and it will show you that $2 million bill that they had to pay in property tax. And that is at their third year on a 10-year abatement that's being reduced down. So every year it's going to get higher and higher and higher. So we want to incentivize industries to come into our community, because when they pay taxes, it lowers our taxes, our property taxes. And that is what we are seeking to do.
Thank you so much. This question is for both our mayoral candidates. It comes from one of our online submissions. As Hampton grows, zoning and development pressures increase. What's your approach to ensuring smart growth, balancing commercial, residential, and green space while maintaining the city's character? Would you consider updates to Hampton's comprehensive plan or zoning ordinances to address current and future needs? We'll start with Ms. Charlton.
So, if you take a look at our comprehensive plan, we just updated that comprehensive plan. But the comprehensive plan is a living, breathing document. It is subject to change at any time. Once we do a review, and it is projected that we will do that review quarterly, annually, every 3 years, every 5 years. We will take a look at it and see what is working and what is not working. One of the things that I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago in regards to green space in our community. And what we realized in that meeting is a lot of the things that the Georgia conservative individual was asking us to do, we already had it in the plan. It was already a part of what we were going to do in our downtown space, so that what they recommend is that we go vertical versus spreading everything out, taking up land space. So we have a wonderful community development department. Ms. Wanda is a subject matter expert. She is great at looking at the trends, looking at what's working in other cities, bringing that information to us and allowing us to make the decision. In regards to zoning, in 2018, we did a zoning update across the city of Hampton. That zoning update changed us to a form-based zoning. And what that allowed individuals to be able to do is to bring in their different types of housing. So let's take a look at it. We have cottage style homes, a smaller footprint, but still a very nice home. The Habitat for Humanity was able to build a small home, a smaller footprint right on West Main Street, so that it could be accessible. Housing can be accessible to everybody, not just a certain sector of people. So those policies are in place, and we are moving forward with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cleveland? Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, I'm just waiting on the mic.
Okay. Sorry. As Hampton grows, zoning and development pressures increase. What's your approach to ensuring smart growth, balancing commercial, residential, and green space while maintaining the city's character? Would you consider updates to Hampton's comprehensive plan or zoning ordinances to address current and future needs?
Thank you for the question. I will consider the updates, but I'm gonna make it short. If it's not good for Hampton, we don't want it. We can, get these industries to come in. They can pay all the taxes for digest, but we steady have businesses leaving from downtown, so we can get all the money we can. It's not helping our small businesses right now. We need to do what we need to do to help our small businesses right now. Our small businesses are the backbone to our city. It's the backbone to our city. And if you don't have strong relationships, you don't have a strong city. And that comes with accountability. Accountability is the foundation of trust. So we giving them labels to get taxes, and we're not getting anything to help our small businesses downtown. They are steady leaving. Thank you.
Thank you. This question comes from someone in the room. Ballot harvesting is the illegal handling of absentee ballots and is a felony in the state of Georgia. This is for everyone. It's a two-part question. Would each of you publicly commit to not participating in and not being involved in any way in ballot harvesting? Would each of you publicly commit to report any instances known to you of the illegal handling of absentee ballots to the Secretary of State's office? And we'll start with you, Ms. Charlene.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
You need to repeat the question?
I answered.
She answered
Yes,
that.
I will 100%.
Yes, I didn't, I thought she was gonna elaborate on it. I would not participate in any illegal ballot handling. I would not complete any hand-over-hand. I would not take any to the post office, none of that. My brother completed an absentee ballot at my house. I said, you put it in the mailbox. I did not do any hand-over-hand, and I would not participate in anything illegal. Thank you.
Simply yes, would not participate.
I will not be participating in anything that's illegal because it truly is a felony. Being an election superintendent for 13 election cycles, a lot of elections are won by absentee ballots. And there is such a thing as ballot harvesting. I don't know how, if anyone say that they will not, there's no way you can prove that they're not. It's just that it is not something that anyone should do. I'm so accustomed to the old-fashioned door-to-door campaigning, canvassing. I'm not accustomed to having postcards placed in my mailbox because that also is against the law. So to answer your question, no, I will not be participating in that at all.
I only had one absentee ballot. That was my daughter who lives in Hawaii. So I commit to not doing absentee ballots.
Thank you all. This question comes from online submission, and it's for our city, our council candidates. City councils often face competing priorities when funding roads, parks, and public facilities. How would you ensure Hampton's capital improvement plan, CIP, and annual budget reflect both immediate needs and long-term sustainability? I'll read this again. City councils often face competing priorities when funding roads, parks, and public facilities. How would you ensure Hampton's capital improvement plan, CIP, and annual budget reflect both immediate needs and long-term sustainability? We'll start this conversation with Ms. Swift. For all.
Repeat it one more time, sorry.
Sure. City councils often face competing priorities when funding roads, parks, and public facilities. How would you ensure Hampton's capital improvement plan, CIP, and annual budget reflect both immediate needs and long-term sustainability?
So having the tough conversations of what we need now and what we can not necessarily push off until later, but we can prioritize now and then continue to develop the plans for later. Making sure that we have everything in place so that when we do start developing things, they're not faulty or they're not going to need repair in the next couple of months or a couple of years. Making sure that things that we do build and things that we do put in place in our city are going to be built to the standard that they need to be so that they can last for years and years to come.
Thank you. Ms. Cheney, same question.
Okay, we asked a
often face competing priorities when funding parks, roads, and public facilities. How would you ensure Hampton's capital improvement plan, CIP, and annual budget reflect both immediate needs and long-term sustainability?
Good question. In front of me, I have the bond summary table, and I'm looking at, in 2019, we had a bond for street improvements. And in 2023, we had pre-construction funding. So I would look at the bonds to see what bond exists and how much it's gonna cost for infrastructure. We know our infrastructure is outdated, and we need to come to the table and come up with a long-term plan. We need a short-term plan, and we need a long-term plan. So we really need to work on our infrastructure. It is outdated. When we're out canvassing, we see so much things that are unsafe and needs to be repaired. But I'm not the one to say, hey, this needs to be done, or that needs to be done, because I'm not on the city council. But it needs some work. Our infrastructure needs a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bryant?
From a priority standpoint, for me, you would start with the simple things that relate to safety. In the city of Hampton, one of the simple things that we did on Main Street, we had the caution for the crosswalks. If you cross in the street, cars should slow down, and there's a warning sign there. So that's something simple that you can tackle right away. As far as those major things, we again look at safety. Now that we have a tax digest that's over $2 million, we now can prioritize and pay for those things that will impact safety. And when I say safety, it just not relates to the city itself. Our seniors, making their roads safe, putting in sidewalks, those simple things can help us out and make sure we maintain the safety that's needed. Thank you.
Okay, I think I got it, okay. Basically, what I would do, I would first talk to my department heads who are experts in their field. I would get from them what they feel are capital improvement projects, whether it's from our police department, public works, economic development. We pay them to be experts. I would get input from them, starting there. I would not spend any funds that we didn't have. So based on their input, I would determine how we would obtain the things that's needed for our infrastructure. It could be that fire truck, whatever could be needed. Well, not fire, because we don't have fire here. That's outsourced to the county. But I would definitely rely on my department heads. I would not rely on one single person to decide my capital improvement projects and what needs to be done first. And then as a collective body, I would go to the governing body, we would sit down at the table and we would say, okay, this is what we need. This can wait. If we put something off, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get it. It's just that we can't get it right now. We have to wait a little longer. So based on input from department heads, city council making a decision will be made what needs to be prioritized.
Thank you. This next question is from the room.
And I wanted to add to that. May I add something?
We'll give you 15 seconds.
Okay.
No, actually, you can rebut. You'll have time at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry. So this next question comes from someone in the room, and it's directed specifically to Mr. Cleveland. In a previous forum, you stated that you believe that one of the main issues that the city of Hampton faces is the city hall. Is this still your stance?
Yes. All city hall is dysfunctional. Nobody wants to talk about it. But I guarantee you, we get the city hall under control. A lot of the stuff that's going on in the city will be alleviated. Right now, we have a city manager that's not vested in this city. I stated at my forum Thursday night, I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm gonna check the charter. check the legislation to see. The mayor has to live in the city limits. The city council has to live in the city limits. Why doesn't the city manager who runs the city not have to live in the city limits? If not the city limits, live in Henry County. So yes, City Hall needs work, a lot of work. We have employees working in the field. I get the calls all the time. They work in the field. We need to get City Hall straightened out. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question comes from our online submission, and it's for all our candidates. What industries or business sectors do you believe Hampton is best positioned to attract? And how would you structure a targeted economic development plan to bring them here? I'll read it again. What industries or business sectors do you believe Hampton is best positioned to attract? And how would you structure a targeted economic development plan to bring them here? We'll start with Ms. Brooks.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. Now, I have something to add, like a rebuttal. Can I do it toward the end?
At the end, we'll have opportunity for a rebuttal.
Okay, absolutely. I think the city of Hampton is perfectly positioned, the downtown area, for like small niche businesses, whether it's candle making shops, things of that nature, boutiques, things that will draw people in that they perhaps may not be able to purchase at the mall, shops, cigar bars or something like that would be perfect for our downtown area. What I would do to draw them in is that I would offer incentives for them to come in and to locate here in our city, whether it's maybe help them with grants, some type of opening type funding, small business type funding to attract. I would also improve the looks of my downtown area because it's not very inviting, and the businesses have hard enough time getting people to even come through Hampton. So I would really make the downtown look very inviting. Make it like a place where you would want to meet up with your friends. Thank you.
The type of industry that I think would work best for Hampton is anything that relates to technology. And when I say technology, that's training of our young folks to be able to obtain technology jobs. We now know that today's environment, it does not require you to go to college and get a college degree to have a good paying job. You can have a technology degree or technology certificate and get a good paying job. I think with the data centers coming on board, it will allow our young folks to stay here local in Hampton, and if we provide the housing that's needed and affordable, it will keep them here and attract more to come to Hampton.
Thank you. Yes. For the industries, for Hampton to attract more industries, I would look at logistics and technology. Like I stated earlier, AI is, prevalent, so technology is big at this time, and offering some tax breaks to these businesses, different incentives for the business, and it's offering, inviting business, that attracts. It's for the young people and the older people, because there's nothing here for the young people to do. So we need to attract some businesses that will bring the young people back to Hampton. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we also, yes, we need to focus on families. We need to focus on the youth. So keeping our youth here, keeping our families here, because this is a safe community. Our economic plan needs to be based around having our families here. We need more athletic room. We need fields. We need a football field that can be dedicated to our junior Hornets. We need a rec center that encompasses all of our generations, not just our youth, not just a basketball court for the youth, but for the adults as well. We need indoor places. We need gym space for our adults, which will help with mental health issues as well. We also need more restaurants in Hampton. When you bring in more restaurants, then you've got people that can work, the adults that are already here can work here, and then they're not commuting to Atlanta or McDonough or Griffin and sitting in traffic for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they can then spend more time with their families. being Hampton, when I moved to Hampton, it was about being with my family. So giving us the opportunity to stay with our families and creating opportunities for our families to stay here. Thank you.
So, when I first got on the council in 2016, Ms. Denise McKee was our Main Street director at that time. She and I would often have conversations about our downtown district. One of the things that we talked about was a 10-10-10 plan. So the 10-10-10 plan is to attract 10 dining establishments, 10 retail establishments, and 10 entertainment establishments. Now, mind you, we don't have 10 spaces downtown for each one of those industries. However, the goal is to build out our downtown so that we can attract those types of industries in our community. In regards to our industries outside of downtown, we have we have developed out 3 different arms in our community: the Hampton Development Authority, the Downtown Development Authority, and the URA here in the city of Hampton. And those individuals have been challenged. The new chair of the Hampton Development Authority has been challenged to actually chase after what we have. What do we have? We have Southern States, which is a producer of high voltage electrical boxes. We need to make sure that they have all of the industries around them that supply them with the raw materials and all of the elements that they use to build out their electrical box. We also have the FAA Center. We have the airport. We need to chase after avionics and drone technology in our city. Those are things that we're actively chasing. We have the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You have lately seen a small or a different version of what they are seeking to do here in our city, which includes a casino, a convention center, as well as a hotel. These are things that we are actively chasing in our community. What we have, we want to make sure that we build around those things. And so that is the plan, and that has been the plan for the last 4 years since I have been mayor, to make sure that we focus on the industries that we currently have here, make sure we get the support system around them, because that's good economic development, smart economic development, and so that we can move our city forward. Thank you.
Thank you. The same question for Mr. Kluger, but I want to read it again so Mr. Richard can get that question. Welcome. Let me read this question again. What industries or business sectors do you believe Hampton is best positioned to attract? And how would you structure a targeted economic development plan to bring them here? Mr. Cleveland.
Well, first, we need to be intentional on what we're asking for. We need to construct a targeted economic development plan to identify the kinds of businesses and industries to fit Hampton's character, create local jobs and strengthen our tax base. With that plan in hand, and we can approach all partners with clear priorities and data to support our grant applications for infrastructure and community investment.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell, that same question, I'll repeat it again for you. Welcome. Thank you. I had something previous. What industries or business sectors do you believe Hampton is best positioned to attract? And how would you structure a targeted economic development plan to bring them here?
Good afternoon. Sorry to be late, and
It don't matter, go
I
ahead.
came from church. So let's talk about it.
We can't make it.
The mic's on?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Hampton is in a position right now of growth. They're saying that we have to look at the question of how we're going to attract people. We know we have a target here, we know we have other industry. So we have the position set by building our infrastructures to attract the industry that we wanted. So right now we need to position ourselves, build our infrastructure up, and also so we can position to get better industry.
Thank you so much. This will be our final question from those in the audience so that we can have time for our candidates to do their rebuttals. This is from someone in the room. And it's for our mayoral candidates. I'm sorry, it's specifically directed to Mr. Cleveland. What do you consider accountability? Explain what you mean by City Hall not being run efficiently. accountability. Explain what you mean by City Hall not being run efficiently.
Well, again, like I stated before, we have a city manager that's not vested in our city. If you go to any commissioner in our county and ask them, how is the relationship with our city, it's strained. I know because I'm told that from our commissioners. If you go to the water authority, that relationship is strained. I know because I asked for emails that were sent so we can see what's really going on. With the city manager running the city, we have to have strong relationships. We can't keep running the city with someone that doesn't care what comes to the city. We got a data center that's open loop. They knew this before it even came to council. When it came to council, it was all about the tax digest. And we voted for it, I voted for it. But once I started digging into it in September, I noticed that it wasn't closed loop. So that means it's going to be a strain on the citizens. I don't care what anybody says about that. It's going to be a strain. To go outside your county to get water from another county for a data center, and you asking for enough water that can run 2 cities for one data center, that's what I mean by it's no accountability. It was stated that the city manager reports to the mayor. He's not being held accountable. As a mayor, I will hold him accountable. If we hit City Hall,
30 seconds.
if we get City Hall where it's invited not only just for the employees, but for the citizens, that will help this city become back, get our civility back. Because right now we just don't have it. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll enter into our round 4, where we just get where candidates will have opportunity to ask questions of someone or rebut a statement from someone in your own race. So our mayoral candidates will have an opportunity to rebut 1 point from to each other, and then our council candidates will have the same opportunity. So we'll start with our council, and Ms. Brooks, you have an opportunity to ask a question of someone else running for council, or if you want to rebut anything someone has said who's also in council.
I do not want to rebut anyone, something that someone has said. I would like to add to a comment that someone said. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Based off what Mayor Pro Tem Devlin Cleveland has stated.
Well, he's
Pardon?
so he's not in your race.
Okay. Well, let's see here. How can I present this?
Just talk.
Basically, I would like to add that the citizens of the city of Hampton have disconnected from local government. And whenever that happens, nothing good's come from that, because the citizen are the primary source for our city. Because without them, we have no city. There would be no need for infrastructure and police and so on and so forth. So they are the main element of this city. And so they are disconnecting because they feel like their voices are not being heard. And I think we need to do something about that. And I think the primary reason that they have disconnected is because we have a city manager that runs this city. He's the public works director. He's the city clerk. He is police chief. So we need to let these professionals do their jobs and respect them as so. As my platform is based off trust, transparency, respect, unity, and small business development. So we really, really need to move forward to transforming this city before it's too late, because people will start to move. I know we got people coming in, but that's not the community. The community are the people that we have here right now.
Thank you. Mr. Bryant, you have an opportunity as well.
I don't have a rebuttal, but what I have to say is citizen involvement has to be there. Since I am retired, I get a chance to walk a lot and get my steps in. And when I do that, I get a chance to talk to citizens. I also spend time at the Bear Creek Senior Center. They have a good breakfast, 3 hours. And in doing so, you can listen to conversations as far as what is needed and what we need to do. I mentioned earlier that when I first got on the council, I spent time in City Hall. Spending that time in City Hall gives you an opportunity to speak with those department heads and understand what their needs are to help the city of Hampton. In addition, during my steps, I would walk and talk to the businesses that are downtown to ask them, what do you need for the city of Hampton to move forward? Again, a simple thing like a sidewalk crossing the warning sign. Thank you.
I don't have a rebuttal, I just wanted to add something. And I want to say, from a teacher's heart, from a neighbor's voice, from a leader in Hampton, and I'm speaking this from my heart. I am not a politician. I'm your neighbor, I'm your neighbor, I'm your neighbor, his neighbor, I'm everybody's neighbor. I don't know how to be a politician, but I'm here, I've worked in the service industry for 40 plus years. And I love people. I love helping people. I will be intentional. I will listen. I will be present. We have so many people that do not listen. You have to listen in order to communicate. When you don't listen to your citizens, there's a lot of misses. There's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of misunderstanding. So the city council, mayor, we need to listen to these people. The city council, we need a city council that's gonna work for you, for the people, not for us. I'm not doing this because I need to do it. I do it because I care. And I have a heart for service. And Mr. Dunn talked about addressing small things. Infrastructure is not small. And I did want to say, when we're out canvassing, I see so many broken meters. I see so many broken sidewalks. I see so many potholes everywhere. So it's not small. It's unsafe and it needs to be addressed. And we need to build public trust. You know, a lot of times we ask questions and they choose not to answer. I will be your city council that will answer the question, and if I don't know the answer, I will seek to find the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell.
Well, I don't know if anyone's talking about me yet. So, well, I'm not doing this because I want to be a city council member. I've been traveling around meeting various neighbors before I even started on many years now, traveling to various communities and speak to neighbors. I was a police officer before, PTO president, also HR president. I've done a lot of this stuff before, not because I want to, because I must volunteer self-service. So, my routine is faith, trust, and love. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Sir.
I guess my rebuttal would be the transparency from City Hall. So in 2020, the City of Hampton took over the Hampton Coley Park. And when they took it over, I had already been involved for several years with the ball field. As soon as I heard that they were taking it over, I reached out and said, what can I do? I feel like a lot of our community may not have, the voice or know how to ask the right questions to be able to get involved and stay involved. So as a Hampton Youth Club director, but also a teacher, like I'm always asking my students, always advocate for yourself, ask your questions. If you don't know how to do something, ask for help. We have brand new Musco lighting at the ball field. We had boxes that made as much noise as the next ball field's fans did, and you couldn't hear anything. New fields that our babies can play on and they can be safe on the fields. We have police presence at our ball field, making sure that our students, our players are safe. And even at our school, our police are there. When we ask for something from the city, we are granted that from the city. I know that there are lots of negative feelings towards certain people, but I feel like that respect has to be given to be earned as well. And I know that my relationships that I build are built on trust, but built on those conversations and those tough conversations. And I want to make sure that I'm being heard, but I'm also being listened to as well and not just passed off. So City Hall is open. I go to City Hall. I've been to City Hall, have meetings at City Hall, and I make sure that our needs are being heard so that our students and our players are safe and listened to.
Thank you. Now we'll have a rebuttal from our mayoral candidates. We'll start with Mr. Cleveland. And you don't have one for me. And we'll start now. Start with any rebuttals from Mr. Cleveland.
Yes, so Mr. Cleveland stated that there is a strain amongst our relationships throughout the county. So let's make it clear. We are no longer taking the crumbs from the table that Henry County once gave the city of Hampton. That causes a strain. When they can no longer take advantage of you, when you hold them accountable like this. You're not charging anyone or getting impact fees from any other city except for the city of Hampton when they build their houses that needs a master meter. Why do Hampton have to pay and not Medina, Stockbridge, and Locust Grove? Yes, we have a city manager that asks them those hard questions each and every day. You have a mayor that will call the commissioners and ask, and the director of the Henry County Water Authority, why are we being charged? So yes, there may be a strain because we are no longer allowing them to take advantage of our system, take advantage of our community. But at the same time, we have respect for each other. Our intellect they know that we are able to look at our budget, look at the amount of money that they owe us, and call them and tell them that they have cheated us out of a couple of $1 million. We've had to do it over the course of my administration. So he talks about strain. It's not strain. It is actually leadership. That's what leadership does. It tackles the hard decision and the hard choices that has to be made on a day-to-day basis. And it does not matter that our partners don't always agree with us. All we want is Hampton to be treated fairly and just. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this point, we've completed the rebuttal. Right, but you passed on your opportunity to rebut. So now we're going to move to our closing argument. Our closing, excuse me, not closing, I feel like I'm in a court of law, right? It feels a little like that, right? But we're going to move to our closing statements from each of our candidates. And so each candidate will have 2.5 minutes to give their closing statement before we close for the evening. And then remember, there'll be time after for you to talk directly and ask your questions directly to candidates. There'll be an opportunity for us to have that following this forum. So we will start with you, Mr. Cleveland, with your closing statements. Thank you.
Thank you. So, the relationship is strained. It's the way you talk to people. You can't cuss people out and tell them to shut up, you talking. You can't do that.
Is this your closing statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is my time.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you. You can't do that. There's no such thing as cheating. We never went to the table to talk to them to find out what's going on. The same thing with Atlanta Motor Speedway or Echo. It was a nasty email sent to the owner. Nasty email. The council didn't know until I requested it and I seen it. You just can't talk to people that way. That's all I'm talking about. You cannot think someone's going to work with you when you are just being plain out nasty to them. And it's not just the county, it's the water authority as well. I got an email right now on what was said. And it's embarrassing because that's a representation of this city. city is not built on that. It is very embarrassing. And it's even more disturbing that we keep allowing it to happen. We keep allowing it to happen. We know what's wrong, but we won't do nothing about it. It takes 4 votes to make something happen. I'm only 1 vote. I'm only 1 vote. Now the lies that bring people together, the truth will eventually tear you apart. It's always good to stand in your truth, even if you have to stand by yourself. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll say what I want to say.
thank you. Ms. Brooks, your closing remarks.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stand up for this one, okay? Good people of the city of Hampton, I don't know what your opinion on how I presented myself tonight, but guys, we're at a crossroad. You got a decision to make. Do you want 4 more years of nothing? Or do you want 4 years of moving forward? We've had 4 years of planning and saying what we want to do, but I really, really want to help move the city forward. I want to be able to really listen to the people because I really don't feel like the citizens have been listened to. I don't think they're involved in decision making when they should be. So, I wouldn't want to be in your position to have to make a decision, but you all are going to have to go to the polls and make a decision on what you want. You want 4 more years of the same thing, or do you want to progress? Thank you, Ms. Brown.
I'm a person of few words. A few words that I have to say. It is time for us to take the plans that have been on the shelf, start activating, and guess what? We're starting to activate. We're starting to see results, and I ask for your vote for me to continue that activation so we can move forward as a city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chan.
My closing statement, my platform is sight. And I want to say again, I have a clear vision for the city of Hampton. Safety is number 1. Public safety, safety in our communities. Don't take it lightly that something will not happen here in Hampton. It can happen. We have a data center and it attracts terrorists. So think about that. Safety. So we need a preparedness plan. We need a preparedness plan when there's a tornado. We have an empty building that we rent out, Catherine Williams building. I'm trying to get through this. And we can house people, have used cooling stations, and we can use it for a warming station. So there's resources out there. Things are just sitting. The city owns property, and nothing is being. They're just sitting. Real estate, and it's costing us money. But my plan is safety, infrastructure is very important. Our infrastructure is outdated. Transparency and accountability. I was always raised to say, always tell the truth. Tell the truth even if it hurts. Because if you tell one lie, you gotta keep telling some more. And so while we're out here canvassing, we have heard a lot of stories. These people are suffering. The seniors, their utilities are going up, their rent is going up. I know there's nothing the city can do about that, but there's some other areas we can cut. There's a lot of waste in our budget. I went to the budget meeting in Woodstock, and they looked at me like, how did you find this place? Oh yeah, I found it, and I learned a lot. So I have a lot of information. Transparency, it goes a long ways. Accountability goes a long ways. Smart economic development for our businesses. Working on our green space. One of the things I want to work on is that we're cutting down too many trees. And these houses, cookie cutter houses, we need to look at that. We need to change some things here in Hampton. I am here to advocate for the families, youth, communities, and I'm running to foster and maintain the public's trust and confidence in our government because we need to build trust and transparency in the city. Thank you. And accountability. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop.
Well, I don't like to talk, but I'm a doer with my face. Well, I'm a seasoned, I'm Errol Mitchell, and I'm coming to make a difference in our community. With my background as a farmer and councilman, I have a degree in master's I'm a chemist by trade. And also, I got a certificate from Georgia, Vision of Institutional Government. People I've been constantly for. I work. This is my population I get from the city. No council person, okay? I did a job. I also introduced the get Cody Park over. West Main Street paved. And also the council person was with me also. So believe me, I'm a person who do the job exactly what I say I'm gonna do. I do not write things down and say I'm not gonna do it. That's not me. If I say I'm gonna do something, that's what I'm gonna do.
This way, your closing remarks.
Thank you. I'm here for our youth. I'm here for our parents, for our grandparents, for our families. And I will continue to be a part of the community. There's never been a time that I put my name in a hat or my name on a sheet of paper and didn't jump in 110%. I give everything that I have, every waking minute and every sleeping minute. So again, I'm my own person with a voice for every person in this room, but every person in our city as well. From the smallest to the oldest, I'm here for you. I will also continue to pave ways for the communities to share their opinions, to share their thoughts, and to share what they want to see done. I will also create opportunities for all of our members in our community to serve. We have a ball field there with lots of babies who need people to pitch to them. So come out to Colby Field, come out to our students, come read to our babies. Be involved in your community. This is the generation that we are raising, and they will be you one day. So when they look back on their time in the city of Hampton, they want to say that they also made an impact. And so that is what I'm also here to do.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. So in my closing, I want to tell you that I am excited about the city of Hampton and all of the progress that it has made over the past 4 years. And I look forward to it moving even further into the future and having great success on every level in our city. We talked about several things this evening: leadership, accountability. Leadership never takes one side of a story and makes a decision, never gets a piece of the pie and decide that the pie is good. No, because there may be some mold on the rest of that pie that you got your slice from that doesn't have any. So each one of us need to learn that you just cannot take a small portion of information and call it the law. It has to be the full picture of all of the information so that you can have an accurate description of what is going on. We talked about accountability. Well, I find it to be strange that accountability was even mentioned tonight, simply because some of our leaders won't hold themselves accountable. They sit on many of our boards, our youth council advisory board, and never showed up. They sat on our Henry County Safety and Transportation Advisory Board and never showed up. They were chair of the Hampton Development Authority, and 85% of their meetings was canceled because they decided to cancel them. But they want to hold everybody else in the city accountable. Accountability starts with us. We are the leaders of our cities, and if we don't do what we say we're going to do, how can we expect our citizens to do what we're asking them to do? So I ask that you would really take a consideration and a look at the choices that you have when it comes down to people really being accountable to our city, people really having transparency and putting all the information out on the table for everyone to view and everyone to see. There's nothing that's been hid, nothing about nothing about the water. Yes, we have gone to Griffin, which every council member signed off on, because Henry County decided that they could not supply us with the water. They cannot control the growth of Hampton. We control the growth of Hampton. So we partnered with Griffin, who is a regional provider of water, to supply our city on the west side with water. We have signed that agreement, and we look forward to doing business with them.
Thank you. Let's give all of our candidates a round of applause. Thank you for your civility, your intellect and all that you shared with us today. I want to call our conveners of this public forum with the Peach State Community Involvement Agency, the owners Reginald and Marquita Walton. Please give them a hand.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. I just want to thank my husband. He's back there. He's controlling the Zoom for the citizens that are on the Zoom. I just want to say thank you to all of the members here. Ms. Cleveland, Ms. Brooks, Donnie Bryant, Ms. Cheney, Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Sweat, and Ms. Ann Tarpley. Thank y'all so much for coming here today and sharing your platform with me, with us, the citizens of Hampton. We appreciate you all, and I think what we set out to do today was accomplish. That was for you to share what your vision is for Hampton. We appreciate it. I really do. I think that some of us have a clear conception now of what we look forward to for the next 4 years. I want to say thank you to the citizens for showing up for us to hear these beautiful candidates share their platform. I want to thank our moderators. I want to thank our timekeeper, Gabriel Lasser. Thank you so much. He was busy today, but he came out to help us. Alasia, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. I'm just appreciative, and I thank you all for coming out. My husband, do you want to say something? No, he's a man of few words, but thank you all so much. If you want to talk to the candidates after we dismiss tonight, you're able to talk to them. And I just hope everyone has a safe time home. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So early voting starts October the 14th. And if I'm not mistaken, it goes through October the 31st. And then we vote November the 4th. November the 4th is voting. So get out to the polls, y'all, because we can do this all day, but until we get to the polls and make the change, that's where the real change is. Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Good night.